Hey, Uncle Bob.
How you doing this morning, Kendrick Henry?
Thank you, thank you.
Salute, brother.
Salute. Happy Monday. Happy Moringa Monday.
Moringa
Wow.
Monday.
Mmm.
You are the smoothie master, brother.
Smoothie king, man. Yeah, we put handful of almonds. Well, starting with like 10 bananas, handful of almonds, handful of sunflower seeds, cacao powder, a little bit of honey, and then of course moringa powder. Lots of moringa powder, fresh. And what else did I put in there? Camu berries and
Put any of that Chanca
Chanca
in there?
Piedra and a little bit of maca root. But man, this fills us up all
it's
day.
like charges us for the day, bro.
Mm.
Mm.
Thanks for having me in the hot seat.
More than welcome.
Everybody gets my good side.
Yeah. It's a beautiful day out here on the farm.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a good weekend, good market weekend.
Yeah. Really did good.
I think we kicked butt this weekend. Thank you so much for going to Lakeland Farmers Market. Also, you went to Hyde Park Farmers Market on Sunday. I was at the Passions Organics Farms on Saturday, and then also on Sunday I went to Quarry Avenue. And so I think we made like $1,800 over the weekend. I mean, it was like record-breaking
Really good,
weekend.
man.
Yeah, beautiful
People
weather.
are really coming around,
people.
man. You know, a lot of regulars coming back. You know.
Yeah.
Loving us.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Loving you, loving your vibes. You're doing good, man.
I'm enjoying it, man.
Awesome.
Totally. Yeah. So I've been with you for a year now.
Yeah.
You know, and you've never ceased to amaze me every day I'm around you. You just blow me away with your intelligence and all
Thanks,
of your
Uncle Bob.
ideas for projects and
Thank you.
different stuff. You know, so
You got me blushing over here. Oh my gosh.
So we really got to ask the question. You asked me, now
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Who is Kendrick Henry?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be like Uncle Bob, just a country boy from Baltimore. Yeah, no, I grew up in a really good middle class family in Baltimore. My family actually, my mom is from San Diego, and my mom and dad met in San Diego, and then when they had me, they went up to Michigan, because my dad's from Michigan, and then I came down to Baltimore with my parents when he got his first job outside of college as a golf professional, and we settled in Baltimore, and then came to Florida to play golf with him, and settled in Florida, and I started going to college. In 2005, I started going to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and started studying aerospace engineering in 2005, the #1 aeronautical university in the country. And it was pretty hard to get into, and I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. It was just kind of like a suggestion from the family, like, hey, you should go to college.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so I applied to the one college, the #1 university in the whole country, and I got in, for aerospace.
Beautiful, man. Yeah. Even aerospace.
It was, yeah. I wanted to build, even then, I wanted to build something. And my idea then was maybe even space station, building a space station on Mars, even back then. On the moon, I was thinking about being a moonwalker, in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in high school, I actually was attending a vocational high school for architecture. So in 2001, when I started high school, I actually learned AutoCAD almost 20 years ago. And so I've been working with AutoCAD now for almost 20 years. And that's the base program that allows you to build floor plans, and then from there you can use Photoshop or Lumion or all these other programs, 3D rendering programs. So I started, learning AutoCAD, and then from there wanted to transition my architecture from high school into aerospace engineering, but I quickly realized that engineering is very different than architecture.
Right.
And I actually get this question a lot. Oh, you're an architect, you must be good at math. No. It's just the exact opposite. Architects are artists. Architects are the theorists and the psychologists behind moving and shaking society in direction. they always hire the engineers and the
Right,
mathematicians and the
yeah,
structural engineers and things like that to do all the math. Architects are more of like the idea,
yeah. The design.
the
You
greater
lay out the
idea.
design
Yeah,
and the idea. Right.
yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much where I started, and struggled, several years in college trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I'm in a fraternity. They really helped out a lot
Yeah,
in guiding and shaping me today. I have my fraternity brothers are my best friends,
yeah.
even to this day.
I see that. I
Yeah.
see how they keep up with you on your media and
Oh yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Oh, hundreds of fraternity brothers that I've been in contact with over the years that know me from Embry-Riddle. Then when I went to UCF, I started my architecture program, and then came to USF in Tampa in 2012, and that's when I started my master's program.
hmm.
And that's when I wanted to start my master's self. I had been studying Leonardo da Vinci, and I started writing backwards like
Yeah,
Leonardo da Vinci,
yeah.
um, without the mirror, just writing backwards, upside down, from bottom right to top left, with my right hand versus my left hand, so that way I could kind of, you know, unbreak the spell, so to
Right.
speak,
Yeah.
that I had
Train
been.
train your brain,
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah,
Get both sides working the way they should, both
exactly.
hemispheres. Yeah.
Right. And it worked. I think I unlocked lots of codes during those times. That's when I started my my healing and fasting journey, because I was really sick
Hmm.
up until 2012 was when I was really getting sick. Was in pain all the time,
Yeah.
eating, uh, irritable bowel syndrome at that point for almost 13 years, and
It's a long time.
yeah, and I just
Long
didn't know.
time
I
to
just didn't know.
suffer. Yeah. Long time.
And I was done. And I said, a master doesn't suffer. In your master self, you know. You
Yeah.
know what's going on. And so I dove right in to find the answers, what was going on with my body, but it also translated to what I was doing in school at the time,
Right.
focusing on my master's degree.
Right.
I had 4 years to go. I didn't want any distraction.
Right.
And the one distraction that I had from when I was younger were girls,
Yeah.
in college.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
I'm chasing after
Young
girls.
man.
I got a motorcycle at the time.
Testosterone.
Yeah, it was easy to have fun in a fraternity life and party.
Yeah.
And I got lost,
Yeah.
for a few years in that kind of
And
environment.
the way you eat with the time limits and all of that, I mean, you're just gobbling down whatever you can and
Yeah.
keeping on going, like you say, plus the alcohol. It's got to
Mm.
take a toll on the body, brother.
I'm really glad I was able to just with my upbringing, living in a good home with no alcohol, no drugs,
Hmm.
to then you get thrown into that, in even in high school and in college, seeing all the time how much
Yeah.
drinking is going on, um, and even just drugs. I never really dabbled too much into serious drugs, mostly just cannabis
Yeah.
and alcohol. But um, when I got to USF in Tampa in 2012, I really just felt this shift. My age also too. I think I was 25 at the time, and I think 25 for guys is like that. You're becoming like a boy.
Yeah, really
18's a
coming
good one.
into a man,
Yeah, 21's a good one,
Yeah.
but I think 25 in the brain for guys, it just really like connects all the dots. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
became a
about,
vegetarian in 2012. I stopped eating meats and animal products, and by 2013 I was fully raw vegan,
hmm.
and I started fasting,
Yeah.
and
And that's how
also
you fixed your problem.
fixed my problem. But also I became celibate.
Yeah.
Consciously. My mom was like, Kendrick, well, she calls me Ty.
Yeah.
She's like, Ty, it seems like you're missing something. It seems like you're searching for something. And I said, well, I am you. What were you searching for at my age?
Right.
And she was like, love. And she's like, you're not going to get it if you keep giving it up. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, you need to preserve your strength and your energy. And
Right.
as a man, you can't just be going around taking advantage of women, calling them different names. I was listening to music that wasn't healthy because it always used the B word, and it just didn't treat women very well.
Right.
And I had a real false ideology as to what a relationship, a man and woman's relationship, was as a young boy. I mean, I would have several girlfriends that were always interested in going out with me, and I never picked and choose them. I just kind of let them come, and it was more free and open with it. And it started to affect me when I was just feeling distracted, and I wanted to get into my master self, and listening to my mom say that to me. And she was like, if I could do one thing over, she said that she would have waited till marriage. And now she was with my mom, and actually my dad was my mom's first, but she said that she wished that she would have just had that sacred bond at that time to say, no, I'm going to wait till marriage.
Well, if she had oath, then would you be here today? That's the question. So it wasn't meant to be that way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I thought about what she said, and it's like, well, it's too late now, Ma. And she's
Yeah,
like, no, it's never too late to start over. And I said, okay. So when I moved to Tampa, um, I didn't pursue any active relationships for that time, and it really helped me to really focus, build up my inner chi. I
right,
started to ingasm, so instead of being like a
right,
young
yeah,
boy
yeah,
watching porno all the time, I started to preserve my energy
right,
inside, thinking that if I'm a genius,
yeah,
that I can build this energy up inside of my body and bring it to my brain, and uh, kundalini rising. I could feel and still do practice these techniques I learned from Montauk Chia,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
the male orgasm. And I just started using that sexual energy as my creative energy. And so preserving that, I felt more like, oh, like I don't need to give this away.
right.
This is sacred,
It is
you know,
sacred oil,
sacred
as
oils.
per, Santos Bonacci, talks with that,
Yeah,
you know. And I've seen that in my research, you can lose a lot of energy by being too promiscuous, so to
yeah.
speak. Yeah,
And just with the people, I thought about the people I had been with, and I wanted to apologize, for maybe not giving them the love that they wanted from me, and also just apologizing to myself, for doing that to my body. Um, and so I wanted to just cleanse from that and take time for myself, and that's when I started the master's program at USF, and I started to excel for the first time in college. It had been 6 years. I
6 years, man.
failed every class, multiple times. But I was stubborn. I'm stubborn. I'm an Aquarius. My
Right.
dad, though, he's Gemini. He's a stubborn bull too. Um, he's
He's a nice guy, though.
a very nice guy. I love him. And 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 that's where I found Moringa, in the studies, in 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 learning about architecture, landscaping, building models.
Hmm.
I started to realize the importance of the landscape in architecture.
Right,
And I even wasn't sure if I wanted to continue architecture, in a sense, if I should go to landscape architecture because of my interests.
right,
But I said, no, if my interests lie in the landscape, I will naturally become that. But let me get the information that I need to get from building buildings, which I'm so happy that I did in the school that I did, because they have such a solid model making infrastructure for the architecture program. It's a great program. I love it. I would recommend it to anybody. USF, School of Architecture and
seems to
Design.
be a pretty beautiful campus. I've been on it, and
Oh
around
yeah,
it doing different things. Yeah,
yeah. I loved it being. I mean, I didn't love being there, but looking back, I loved the fact that I finished it, went through it, and every day to this day, I do not regret that I went through it, because I'm making my way to what I'm meant to be
exactly,
doing.
exactly.
Just because I didn't jump in to get an architecture job right away, and I did. I had several internships. I built several houses while I was in school as an apprentice.
You build a tiny home community.
designed and built a small tiny home community. Yeah, and these were all people just coming to me while I was in school asking me to do projects.
Right.
And I was eager to just do the projects that were coming to me. But as I started becoming a businessman, learning about business, you don't have to pick up every project that everybody asks you to do.
No.
I was so just wanting to be a people pleaser, a yes man, and oh yes, I can do this for you, and also just a young guy, excited to do something, and I would
I
do a
can
lot of
relate.
things for free, you know.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to preserve my energy, my time, and also charge more, but also do less. I'm trying to do less, and thanks to you, you have been making this happen.
You have lightened up a lot since we've got here and got some of the load off of you. Yep. Yep. I take on the products, the packaging and the shipping more or less,
Yeah,
and let you focus on the media and all of the technical behind the scenes stuff.
it's
It's
a
working
great
out.
team. I really appreciate everything that you're doing here. I mean, here it is, Monday, and I would be extremely, extremely exhausted, just 1 year ago, having not slept the entire weekend, making all the products that we sold this weekend. I would be doing that myself.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday night, not sleeping, Saturday going to the market, grouchy, not trying to answer anybody's questions because I wasn't preserving and taking care of my own self.
Right. Yeah.
Now I'm eager. You can't get me to shut up. I'm like, wait, 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 hold on, come on back, let's talk.
I'm the same way, man.
Yeah. And they're like, no, 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 we gotta go. And they've been there for 20 minutes, and I'm holding people in
Yeah.
and trying to get them to learn about moringa. And that's when I learned about moringa. When I was in school, and I was trying to do these projects. Oh my gosh, like these projects that I would have to do for school would be unbelievable. Like I'd have to build models the size of this table in like a week, and it would be like, where do I get the money for the wood and the chipboard and the paper? And it's just like, ay ay ay. So luckily, what I would do was I would take my student loans. So every semester I would get student loans, and I took out the maximum student loans. So I would get $10,000 every semester. So that's 3 4 months. Every 3 4 months, I would get $10,000 for school. And I did that because I was in the master's program. You can take out 10,000 after you get to the master's. You can only take out maybe 3 or 6,000 if you're undergrad. But by the time I got to master's, I'm able to take out the full 10. 4,000 would go to classes. So I'd have 6,000 to play with. I'd pay my rent with that 1,000. I drove a motorcycle at the time, so I didn't have insurance, and gas was very minimal. Actually,
Right.
I collected aluminum cans in the parking lots, put them in a bag, took them to the aluminum metal recycler, and we
Yeah.
would get $2 for gas.
Yeah.
That's how I got gas for the motorcycle.
Yeah.
But during that time, it's just because this is really important about how we got to here today.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for that $10,000 every semester. So for like 2 3 years, I was getting $10,000 every 3 4 months from school. What I would do with it, and the professors were upset with me. All my peers were upset with me because I was spending my money that I was supposed to be spending on architecture
And materials
and
and yeah.
materials. I went and I bought vending machines off Craigslist. And I met a guy on Craigslist when I got to Tampa. I started calling around, and I started buying vending machines in location, making money, and that's when I bought the van. I used the 10,000, bought the van, and by the time I graduated, I had 31 vending machines in the Tampa Bay area, generating several $100s worth of cash every day. And then I sold that business the day that I graduated for $20,000, and I sat on that $20,000, paid my rent for the year, and started Numa.
Okay. So you've been an entrepreneur from the beginning. Basically,
Yeah,
you've always had ways of making money and
yeah, it's
on
always
your
been a
own.
real
Yeah.
struggle. I mean, you can attest. I'm sure you can. It's
Absolutely.
just, I mean, I have gone homeless without food,
Yeah.
and it's like, why? Um, you know, I worked full-time jobs, several full-time jobs back to back while going to school before I could get the vending machine business going.
Right.
But by the time I got to like 2013, 2014, I had the van. I had I was building my vending machine business up, and I was able to make cash every day. I could go to class, and then in between classes, I could go check up on my vending machines, make some cash, come back, eat food, and then spend the rest of the night at the studio, overnight, like literally 2, 3 nights a week overnight in the studio. I mean, living in school, like it was crazy. We had couches and
Yeah. So
microwaves and ovens and I mean, you'd walk in at any given time of the day, and there were people passed out from sleeping. It's like, hey, it's time for class.
yeah.
And
Because
they're
y'all
like,
had
oh,
so much on your plate, the
yeah,
projects and the short time limits and all of that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had someone come up to me yesterday. She's like, oh my God, you did architecture? She's like, you know, that's the hardest major.
Hmm.
And I'm like, you're telling me? Yes, I know. It's actually proven that it is the hardest major degree that you can get, even above doctorate,
Yeah.
because of the intensity of it. And during that time, everyone's smoking cigarettes. They're a little bit
Yeah.
younger than me, and they're eating pizzas, hot pockets every day, and smoking cigarettes and partying at the same
Yeah.
time.
Ramen
And
noodles.
I had already kind of passed through that phase because I had fraternity life from '05 to 12, so I was already the old man
Right.
even at
That's
25.
something, ain't it?
In the master's program, everyone's 22, 21, 20. They had already gotten, their 2, 3 years in, and they were still kind of just figuring out stuff and not really realizing, um, the intensity or the prestige that the master's program was really developing in us, all of us. And even at 25, I felt a little bit older, 26, 27, and that's when I had to start fasting. And I didn't have a choice. My body was not accepting food. I was throwing up every time I ate. I wasn't going to the bathroom, um, but once a week, you know.
Man.
And I didn't even have the money at the time for really good food, so I would have to share a salchicha with my dog that I had at the time, and she helped me get through that time. But we would share rice, beans, and salchichas. That's what we ate every day.
Darn it.
And I remember sitting there going, "All right, Luna, we're gonna share this salchicha." She'd look at me. It's just getting through that time, being here, even having recently been homeless. Is
Yeah.
just I'm just soaking this up with you and just loving it.
Yeah. I
It's really
saw you
beautiful.
suffering. When I came in, I saw what you had on your plate, and I was wanting to get out of what I was doing, and I said, this is a beautiful business, and this is right up my alley for where I'm headed now with my health journey too,
Yeah,
and my spiritual journey. So, I said, hey, I'm going to help this young man out, and we're going to bring this to a whole new level.
and we have in
And
just a short amount of time.
it has. It's taken off since we come here and come together where we've got the time to, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I've been consuming more moringa just being here too in the smoothies,
yeah,
seeing you drink it in your teas, making it even just using the powder and putting the powder in tea. I mean, it's great.
yeah,
I love it,
yeah,
and that's what actually helped me recover and heal.
yeah,
So I I found a community on Twitter, the 13 Love community on Twitter, and
13 love.
13 Love community. It was crazy. They call it TLC, and the guy that started TLC is actually in Tampa. His name is Nine Sun, and he started a small following that has now grown to thousands and thousands of people. And all he teaches is 13 love and loving yourself, loving and getting back to nature.
Right.
Mostly getting back to nature is the philosophy of 13 Love Community.
The two things you said, loving yourself, you have to learn to love yourself before you can love others. And as far as getting back to nature, we come from nature.
Yeah,
We have to ground ourselves back to Mother Earth.
yeah.
Have to.
Well, because of his teachings and his realness, woke me up. It was that tough love, and he makes tons of videos, and I started watching the videos in 2013. Found out about Dr. Sebi
Yeah.
in 2013, and from then the journey just started. I started Well, first I became a vegetarian, vegan, essentially a plant-based, in 2013. It just,
It's funny how it's
yeah,
about the same year you did it and I did it too,
yeah,
for our own different reasons. But yeah, and we've
yeah.
been on the same path
Oh my gosh,
for
my
about the
body,
same amount of time.
yeah, it's crazy. And my body has some severe reactions. I mean, I was breaking out badly. I was also consuming apple cider vinegar
Yeah,
at the time, and it was too strong for me. I found out my blood type. I'm an A positive blood type, and vinegar can be a little bit too alkaline for my body. It actually
oh yeah,
burns me out because I'm already, I guess, A positive, maybe a little bit more in an alkaline environment. I'm not sure. I'm still learning,
right,
but I
right,
feel like it just it was a little bit too much. So
yeah,
I stopped consuming apple cider vinegar, kind of balanced out a little bit, and then started I started consuming moringa. Funny story, actually. We're here on Numa Farms. The dad that I'm buying the property from, his son, David, one of my best friends, um, I met him on the beach painting the van
right,
and started working for him shortly after. And he's the one that said to me one day, "Hey, we've got these 80 moringa trees here at the nursery. Do you want them for a day's worth of work?" He offered the 80 moringa trees to me. And so I was trying to get set up, thinking about starting a nursery business so that way when I got out of school, I didn't have to necessarily go get a job as an architect, that I
right,
could build my own brand, build myself
right,
up first before working for someone. And so buying vending machines, using the cash from school to get the vending machines going, meeting David, starting a plant nursery at the same time, working with my health, starting to consume moringa more, and then David gave me these 80 trees, and I started planting them on other people's properties. I just started knocking on people's doors.
yeah,
"Hey, can I plant a tree in your backyard?" They're like, "For what?" And I said, "Well, it's food." And they're like, "Well, what do I get out of it?" And I said, "Food."
right.
And they're like, "Okay." 5 years later, here we are with over 300 properties and thousands of moringa trees right here in the neighborhood.
Right. And that was originally the start of the MGC,
Yeah,
even though that might not have been a thought in your mind at the time,
it
or
wasn't.
even the co-op.
I didn't even know.
Um,
I didn't even know what a co-op was then, and I just started planting trees on other people's property
yeah,
and using moringa for myself during that time, learning about moringa. So starting to plant the trees, starting to use it, and then I felt so strong about it and I really wanted to test it out. At this point, I had already been about 2 years vegetarian, and by like 2014, 2015, and I started fasting every Sunday, just eat in the sun,
right,
no food. I'd be at school or work, or doing the vending machines, whatever. Every moment that I could, I'd be out in the sun, just eat in the sun, shirt off, getting
right.
full powered
Absorb
up,
that energy,
Superman.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just boom. And transition to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I would eat Monday through Thursday, and then I'd go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'd eat Monday through Wednesday, and then I went Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I would eat Monday, Tuesday, and then I would go all week. And so it took months.
right.
It took almost a year of doing that. Every Sunday, every Saturday, Sunday. As soon as Friday came, Sabbath, I was like, it's Friday night. I don't need to eat.
That's a sign of a strong mind. So many people out there cannot do those things.
Well, what changed my life was hearing this one story about the bald eagle. When the bald eagle was 40 years old and he had a broken beak, he flew up to the top of the mountain and he stayed there until his beak fell off and he grew a whole new beak. And then he came down off the mountain and lived for another 40 years.
Darn.
So when I heard that, and I'm wondering, wow, the United States of America uses the bald eagle as its, emblem
Hmm.
on the dollar bill,
Yeah.
was also a symbol in Native American culture, and also as a symbol in many other cultures around the world. And when I heard that story of the bald eagle fasting, essentially until he was well, I started connecting these dots. Like, wait. There's also a story about this guy Jesus going into the desert for 40 days. There's also Krishna going into the woods for 40 days.
Yeah.
There's all these similar stories. Or there's Ramadan, which is, I think, 40 days of fasting, where you only eat at night, where you fast in the day.
Right.
And I started, like, hearing from Dr. Sebi and a few other people that I followed on YouTube that fasting was one of the ways that you could reset your body.
Yeah. It's the best way.
Let your body heal.
Yeah.
Give your body a
Let it
break.
clean out. Let it clean out.
It's going to do its own thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I came across Dr. Arnold Ehret, because
Hadn't heard of
that's
him.
Dr. Arnold Ehret is the guy's teachings that Dr. Sebi also pulled from.
Ah.
So Dr. Sebi said they didn't read no books. I don't read no books, but a lot of his information comes from Dr. Arnold Ehret. So I looked into Dr. Arnold Ehret, which is the mucusless diet,
Yeah.
and also the master faster that came from Austria, Germany at the time in the early 1900s. He had to flee. I think he was a German Jew, and I
Right.
think he had to flee at the time he came to the States, and he had a small practice where he um, would essentially make everybody raw vegans,
Right.
and then fast, and then also go on a raw diet, and then also fasting. So in conjunction with fasting and on a raw diet, either 30, 60, 90 days, whatever the regimen is for that person's condition, he started curing people of cancers and multiple diseases. And it got a little bit too much attention, and supposedly someone infiltrated his practice, gave people meat
Right.
and other things that they weren't supposed to eat on their fast,
Right. Yeah.
and kind of like switched out the plates, like, oh, this is your plate, when it really was something that they weren't supposed to eat.
Yeah.
And so they gave them the wrong thing. And this was in Dr. Arnold Ehret's book. Um, and so those people passed away.
Yeah.
And so then Dr. Arnold Ehret was blamed for that. And then I think shortly after, nobody heard anything about him or
Yeah.
from him.
'Cause I never heard of him. Never
Yeah.
did.
So, I mean, I can attest that after the 30th day, I was stronger than I started on the first day. Actually, that 30th day that I completed my fast, and I had just been consuming moringa powder, moringa teas. I was eating a few herbs,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
few small herbs, chewing on herbs that I would find, also source like dandelion root and things like that.
Good stuff.
Just little roots and things that I could chew on and suck on, but trying to keep my stomach empty so that way I wouldn't be having to go to the bathroom. The first like 10 days, I took not laxatives, but I did, after like the third or fourth day, I did try to clean my entire colon out by taking an enema.
Hmm.
And then that way I didn't have the toxins just sitting in my body for 30 days. So I prepared my body the first couple days. And I did eat the first couple days, like kale and some salad,
Uh-huh.
just to kind
Yeah.
of get myself into it, mostly just moringa. But by the 30th day, I hadn't eaten solid food in at least 20 days. And it was mostly moringa, water, tea, and I walked on my hands because I had been practicing that 30 days. It was my exercise. But
Yeah.
I knew that my heart was weak. It was pumping. It was
Right.
stressed. It
Yeah.
was stressed. It was eating itself because I had lost so much weight after that 30th day, that I just didn't have any fat. I wasn't consuming enough healthy fats to be staying as active as I was. I probably should have been a little bit more still,
Right. Yeah.
but I was working, going to school, and also working out on the 30th day. I walked 100 yards on my hands across the football field at USF. And then I ate some dates. I was like, I need some dates. And so I had them, and I ate some dates and chocolate, and I gorged figs. I ate figs, and then I was back. And I have never since then had to take another laxative, take another enema, or had any problem going to the bathroom.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Like I say, it takes a lot of will. So many people out there just don't even realize, that if they would just do that, their lives would change
Yeah, just
in
stop
that
eating
amount
for
of
a couple
time.
days.
Yeah. Now, did you find that like after the third day, that's what I usually hear, and from my own experience, after the third day, the 3 days, first 3 days
It's
are
the
the
worst.
roughest.
It's the
And
worst.
then after that, you start feeling your energies
You
and
do.
you start feeling like you want to do exercises and maybe jog or something,
It's true.
that you wouldn't have wanted to do ever before.
It's true. If you can get through that first 3 days, it's the toughest thing. But if you can just get through those first 3 days, consume water, and possibly evacuate everything out of your body, you will feel 100 times better by that fourth day, and it's smooth sailing.
Mm,
I mean, it's just the habit that we miss at night. It's
exactly.
like, well, what do I do now? I had all this energy. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go back to school and do an all-nighter, and work on my Grand Canyon project,
Right.
you know, and that's what I did. And I would be fasting, and I'm like, well, it's not like I get tired from eating anymore. No more itis.
Right.
So I'm like, I'd be done with the day, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm supposed to go to bed, but I'm not even tired. You know, I'd go back to school. During those 30 days, I literally slept the least that I've ever slept,
Yeah.
too, because your body is not breaking down food.
Yeah. So all the energy is going straight into whatever else.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the ideas. I mean, I have notebooks just from those 30 days. Every day I actually journaled, and I do have some video that I took during my fast, that I would be posting to the 13 Love community.
mhm.
I found them on Twitter, and then we moved to a private platform on Google Plus. I'm not really sure where everyone is now. I haven't kept up with them, but Nine Sun and the 13 Love community literally has my heart for life, because the people and everyone that is a part of that community is love, man. It's
Right.
just pure love. And there was just some things that I couldn't uh, do to keep up with the community, just some requirements in order to be in the community,
Right.
and so I can still love them from afar, and and still start my own. I started my own community, with the co-op,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
learned
Yeah.
from the 13 Love community how to be a leader.
Yes. And you are quite a leader.
Thank you.
Quite a leader.
I'm trying
You
to.
stay focused, and you're driven,
Yeah.
heavily driven.
Well, it's funny that you're saying, as we talk about being a leader, one of the things that just recently came up that I have been studying from Gary Vee and a few other prominent marketing um, guys on YouTube is taking care of the people that work with you.
Absolutely.
Create the environment that
Yeah.
you want to work in, so that way people want to work with you and for you.
I'm totally with you on that. These big companies, they make all these big bucks, and if it weren't for the employees, they wouldn't have the company to start with. So, yeah, it's important that you take care of those that get the work done for you.
And that's why this past weekend I just created a packet for our investors, the Moringa Growers Co-op investors, also our workers, that states our plan to pay people like you back that have been putting in the time, and so that way you have something that that is accruing interest in the Moringa Growers Co-op. Now that we're getting more stable, the co-op is growing so fast. Like I can't even keep up with it. I mean, you see the
I
amount of calls
see.
that are coming. Hey, I've got 100 acres over here. Hey, I've got 100 acres over here. Hey, can you plant 1,000 trees over here? And I'm just asking everybody, yes, I can, but you just have to buy the trees from me first.
Right. Yeah.
Because people will hit me up like, Kendrick, you can use my yard. You can use my yard. You can plant as many trees as you want here. Great. And I did that. I did that for 5 years. I didn't get paid for planting trees. Now I'm reaping the benefits of those trees because now I'm harvesting it.
Right. Yeah.
But now I'm to the point where, because the time is so valuable, I can only go to the people's houses that are willing and able to also provide the the monetary value that it took me to plant those seeds to
Exactly.
make those
Yeah.
trees.
Yeah.
And I even
Because
flip it on people sometimes because they say, Kendrick, I'm going to have your moringa trees in my yard. What are you going to give me? And I say, well, they're actually your trees in the co-op. We're trying to build people. We're, Essentially, we're trying to multiply me.
yeah.
We're trying to multiply someone that's in their own mind able to also care and grow the moringa trees just like me. Decentralize the system.
Yeah. We can't personally go to every property, do every harvest, and process all the product ourselves.
Right.
And yes, we can hire help
Mm-hmm.
to do that, but then what are the cost issues there, as
Right.
compared to the co-op owners
Thank you.
taking the initiative and having owning their
Ownership. Just like you
ownership
said.
of their yeah
Everyone
and
in the co-op is an owner
yeah
of the co-op.
exactly,
I'm not the sole owner of the co-op.
and they're not seeing it like that right now.
That's our fault
Yeah.
because we're not educating people enough yet. And also, it's just like when the people come to me with the jobs, like, hey, can you come do this job? Can you come do this job? Now we're learning because we have people coming to us, hey, you can have my yard. Hey, you can have my yard. Hey, you can come plant trees on my property. But we're now kindly saying, thank you so much for that opportunity. If you would like to be a part of the co-op, we need you to take the initiative to purchase the trees, plant the trees, care for the trees. We want each person in the co-op to be an owner of
Yes.
their trees with us.
Yes, and learn how to harvest their trees and maybe process some of the product.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, decentralize the whole system.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at an example. Frontier Co-op is a really prime example. Like when I purchase herbs from Frontier Co-op,
Yeah.
and they're in stores. They're a huge co-op. They literally have the location and the farm that the product came from. So there's hundreds and hundreds of farms, thousands of farmers that are in this co-op that supply Frontier Co-op with the herbs on other properties. So what we're trying to teach people is that each property, each backyard, each piece of land, each house that is growing the moringa trees, they are literally a business owner
Absolutely.
that that has a name, has a license, and they're a part of the co-op as, say, Sherry's Moringa Trees or Pat's Moringa Trees,
Right.
LLC.
Right.
So that way each one has a business that they're coming and supplying legally to the co-op, because we're trying to get certified organic properties involved. We're also sourcing moringa from other countries.
Yeah.
We're bringing in moringa
I'm
from
excited for
Mexico,
that.
India, Africa. And so in order for us to really grow, we need each person that's growing the moringa trees to take the initiative. And that's why we're coming out with these podcasts and these videos to teach people how to grow moringa. And that's why we're here.
Right. Exactly why we're here. To teach people about moringa and also help people learn how to live a healthier life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Through nutrition and yeah, Mother Nature.
This literally keeps me going all morning. I love this.
So good, brother.
I have to be careful because cacao supposedly is like caffeine in a sense, where it can act as
Nerve stimulator, so to
a
speak.
stimulant in a way, and I
Yeah.
don't want to get burnt out in that way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes after taking the smoothie, I'm like,
Wired up.
Wired up, yeah. But mostly because of the minerals that are in there. I just took my Soleil solution. Actually did a double shot.
Did you?
Yeah. I actually like the salt water.
Oh,
I enjoy it.
yeah.
I feel like it
Love
helps me retain water throughout the day so I don't get as dehydrated.
It does.
Right?
It allows your cells to take in the fluids that your body needs and the nutrients also.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
all the things that you've been bringing to the table. Now that spring is coming, I mean, we have like 1,000 seedlings now just in the greenhouse right
Yeah.
now.
And they're coming up
They're like this
beautifully
big
now.
now, and we just got our first load of soil here dropped off, and we're about to take off, and start planting moringa trees on other properties, signing on more people with the co-op.
Yeah.
But
Where do you want to go from here?
where do we want to go from here? Well, I've been thinking of how to merge my architecture knowledge now with my farm knowledge and turn that into a business where I'm only building and designing farms.
Right. But you don't want to do it for other people. You want to buy the properties, design them, build them, and then offer them for sale.
There's two different types of architects. There's architects, and an architect is really determined by its client, because they have restraints.
Right.
You're not really an architect until you serve someone, until you have a client that you're serving.
Okay.
Because architects are service based. Like, we're here to serve our client, our people that want our services. Now, if I just go out and say, hey, I'm not going to have any clients, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to sell it, like buy a property like what you were saying, build a farm on it, and then sell it, that's cool. I do want to do that, and I probably will, and I am doing that now, but there is a craving for picking someone else's brain and seeing something that they're thinking come to life.
Right.
The real trick is to be able to take a word or a feeling and invoke that into a structure and a space to where when you're sitting inside that space or you're seeing that space, it's literally the word or the thing or the object that's coming to that person's mind.
Right.
You're extrapolating the ideas and the essence of this idea.
So to speak, you're bringing their dream to life,
Yeah.
as in an artist painting a picture.
Now that's the ultimate goal as an architect, to see that on that person's face when they see it for the first time finished. I think that's what I'm working towards. Maybe I feel like I just need some more practice, getting my hands down and dirty and just coming out with some designs.
Right.
And that's what I want to do here. I want to play, I want to experiment, and I don't want to be distracted just yet with other people's ideas just yet.
Right.
I'm young in my architecture career. People ask me, I thought you were an architect. I'm like, I am, but it's a 50-year career. I'm in year one. You don't see Frank Gehry in 1960. You don't see Frank Gehry in 1960 with his hundreds and hundreds of projects that he has now as the architect that he was then. You only see an architect as a famous architect when they're 70. But one of my favorite architects, Bjarke Ingels, he started a group, the Bjarke Ingels Group, big, and he designed several buildings in New York City, around the world. He built like a net zero factory. Like, it literally turns the production of the factory into like water. Like, it literally, like, the whole factory is based on like the environment, and it just produces steam, and it blows these steam stacks. He just has a really great mind,
Yeah.
artistic mind, and I love the way he thinks, and I study his projects and many other architects' projects. I'm still so immersed in it. You see me
I
having
see
dinner,
you watching as you eat at night, you're watching your videos
I'm just
on
watching architecture videos.
architecture and
Yeah.
your Gary B stuff and
Mhm.
different people for the
Yeah.
motivation and
Yeah.
inspiration. Yeah.
Well, it's been inspiring to um, to to now see this. It's inspiring to see this and knowing that it can happen.
Right.
That it's real. That when I say that I wrote a book and I put it in the box, and people are blown away with that.
Yeah, they all the time, where I'm like, this is Kendrick's book, and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah.
Well, my queen Ariel, she she would get these. She still does. She gets these goddess boxes, and 2 years ago, she was sleeping, and all of a sudden, like, we heard the mail lady come, and she's like quiet, on her phone or whatever, and all of a sudden she's like, oh, my goddess box is here. And she gets up and runs out to the mailbox and she grabs her box, and I'm like, what is going on right now? And she's like, oh my god, look at this is so great. And she lays it all out, and she's like, I got my cards, I got this, I got that. And she's reading this, and this goddess box is really just sourced products from other little small businesses that are geared towards being a goddess. So it would have like crystals or a yoni steamer or uh, um, any kind of product that would be for creating a higher level of consciousness for a young girl.
Right.
And so she gets these goddess boxes every month. They're like 30 something bucks.
It's
And
like Christmas every month.
it's
Yeah.
Christmas every month, and she does it because it's for herself. It's got lotions in it. It's got sprays in it, and essential oils, and all the things that she loves, and cards, and just moon tracking devices, and just every month it's just a collection of this girl's favorite things that she puts in this goddess box that she created on Instagram. And I saw that and was like blown away with it. So I started taking notes. And
Yeah.
it literally took a whole year to develop from that goddess box, this box right here. And I took, you know, that's one of the things I learned in architecture school was that I don't have to recreate the wheel. When they would come to me on a Monday and say, you have to have this model done by Friday of a museum, I was like, where do I
Mm,
start?
yeah.
And so I'm looking through books of some of my favorite museums. I'm like, I like this space. So I recreate that space, and I like this space from this museum. Oh, recreate that space and maybe put that here. But I like this space, put it here. But then maybe that becomes something completely new. And I'm not necessarily copying, right? But we are building upon and recreating, and that's essentially what I learned in
Taking
architecture
different
school.
ideas and merging them together.
Yeah, and you don't have to recreate it. It's already there.
Right.
Someone's already done it. And so I'm just trying to make it better and
Right.
with my own spin
With
on it.
your own style.
And
Yes.
it's taken off. I mean, we're getting now several orders every single day coming into the website. Calls, "Hey, can I get a starter kit? Can I get a starter kit?" It's because most people have not heard of or tried Moringa, and the starter kit offers a sample product of everything that we make inside.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's why it's perfect for people that have never used Moringa before.
Gives
And
them a chance to pick and choose and decide what works for them the best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
so
um, we've talked about your architecture and we've talked about Moringa. What else? What else do you got on your mind as far as your future plans?
future
Well, I
plans.
know you do still want to get into beekeeping.
Yeah, I would love.
And
I miss beekeeping. I did get stung a few thousand times,
mm,
and it was pretty painful.
yeah,
The story is that I was moving one of my beehives from USF to the Zen Den, and I literally put them in the van.
Yeah.
The whole box in the van. And in the process of putting them in the van, I didn't have a bee suit at the time. And they got under my mask and up my pants and in my shirt.
Mm.
And I literally I laid down getting stung, and I thought I was gonna die. I thought it was over. I thought this is where this is
Yeah.
where I was gonna die.
That's a lot of stings, bro.
And it was unbelievable. I mean, they're coming in, and I'm hitting them, and I couldn't at this point I couldn't move. Now my ankles, everything had blown up so fast, and I hadn't really gotten stung before like that.
Right.
And I had only been practicing beekeeping for about a year at that point, and I still hadn't gotten a full bee suit because they were really expensive, and I was just using jeans and a button-up shirt, and I did have a mask, but they got in, man. They were just mad. They
Mm.
were mad.
Oh
They're
yeah.
like, we know you're moving us, and we're not happy.
Yeah. And they're defending that queen too, bro.
Yes. And so I'm laid out at the botanical gardens at USF, and I was like, no, this isn't it. This isn't it. My whole life flashed in front of my eyes. And I literally I remember like hitting the floor with my fists and like coming up off the floor, standing up, grabbing the beehive, put it in the van, get in the van. The bees are going everywhere, and I'm still killing them on my face. And I'm like,
Dang.
it's whatever, you know.
Dang.
And the gate's locked. I pull up to the gate to leave, and the gate is closed.
Man.
And this couldn't get any worse.
Right.
Right? I'm like, I can't even escape. I'm about to ram through the USF Botanical Garden gate with bees in the back, and I can't. And I looked. I just had to move the lock. You know how you just have to move it, and then it opens? Oh my God. I freaking opened it up, zoomed to Zenden, took the bees out, put them on the roof of the house,
Dude.
took my everything off, and I couldn't move for 2 days.
Man.
My whole face was blowed up. I couldn't open my eyes. I couldn't open my mouth. But since then, every time I get stung, I don't have a reaction. I built up an immunity.
Oh, I'd say that's quite a.
Yeah,
Wow.
no reaction. I mean, I might have a little bump, but now at this point, when I get stung, it's like I built up the defense.
Yeah.
Or it's like you have to give yourself the virus in order to, be immune to it.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Yeah.
that's essentially what the vaccinations are, right? They're actually giving you the virus, something like that,
Exactly.
so that way you're immune to it.
Yeah.
I feel like now I'm immune.
I'd say so. You know, I was allergic to wasps when I was younger, but as I've grown, and I've been stung by a good few, especially in property maintenance business, and now I don't have to go to the hospital no more.
Wow,
So, yeah,
that's great.
yeah, it's beautiful. Me and my brother used to let bees sting us just to see how it felt.
Oh my
We
gosh.
did. Yeah.
You guys are country as heck.
Had to throw that in there
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
But yeah, you even created your own beehive system
Yeah.
while you were in college as one of your projects.
Yeah. It's so every single project that I did in school, the school owns. And so I just kind of tweaked it a little bit to where I thought maybe when I get out of school, I have this idea that I want to work with and develop, but the school may not own it, right? So
Right.
I built a model, and I left it very minimal so that way I could take some of the ideas and develop it further outside of school. And so I built this beehive system that's raised up on a pole,
Uh-huh.
an aerial beehive,
Aerial beehive.
and that way it's safe from predators. Also, the dew from Florida is very like water.
Yeah, yeah,
Has lots of dew
yeah,
just within the 10-foot area of the ground.
yeah.
So raising it up, it has a much more stable environment for the wet.
Drier,
It's drier,
cleaner,
cleaner.
less bacterial growth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're going to be developing out here. Our buddy, he's a lineman, and so he can get us telephone poles for free. And so we're just going to start experimenting with some poles and maybe get some beehives out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to get some beehives. That way we can start putting our honey in the mix.
It would be nice to have our own honey too,
Yeah.
instead of having to buy it.
Oh, I've had it
And we'll
before.
know what's in our honey.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. I mean, it can be a little bit of work, but with all the things that we're doing here now on the farm, beekeeping, growing food, growing mushrooms, all these little things, they're taking off of the things that we actually have to spend.
Right.
So, like, I'm over here, like, we just did the taxes. We just made 75,000. Where is it? And
Right.
I'm looking, like, it's not that we need to make more money. We just need to manage the money that we have a little bit better to where we're not spending it on the things that we do every day. Like for me, it's um, like bottled water.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get the water system here in a reverse osmosis. Um, I eat a lot of mushrooms, so we're trying to grow more mushrooms. Little things like that, so that way we're not having to spend the money, so we can keep it
Exactly.
more and
Yeah.
put it back into the business.
The more we can produce for ourselves, yeah, the better we are.
Well, I feel amazing here. With you, we're building it up together, and each of us now, we're not alone in
No.
this.
No.
That's what we felt like. Been doing it alone, and I've had several people come in and help and go, and that's okay because you can only talk about moringa so much,
Right.
you know,
Right.
unless you have a goal in mind, like I do, that I know that moringa is really just a launching pad for me to get to the next level
Yeah.
and and becoming more stable, and also the benefits of it is that we get to help a lot of people along the way.
That's the beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Yeah, so many people, so many
Changing a lot of
testimonials.
lives, man. You just got the testimony the other day from Maria
Yeah,
of a lady with cancer.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't know if it's the moringa, but good news is that her cancer had shrunken and reduced in size over the past 4 weeks that she had been consuming moringa capsules.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we don't know,
Right.
but since her last session, she's had nothing but positive results. So chemo, along with a healthier diet, can help reduce, the signs and effects of cancer.
Yeah.
It's about marrying all the modalities and the systems. There's some things that are good that you have to pick from here and pick from here and pick from here and try to figure out what's good for you.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Drinking more water, staying hydrated.
And
Great.
you got a long way to go, brother. You got a
We're just
lot
getting
more
started.
life. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we're
got a
just getting
lot more
started.
life to live. I do too, actually. But
Yeah, we talk about it all the time, just getting you to 100
yeah. And past.
and past.
Past that.
I feel like you could do it.
I don't see no reason why not.
Your mom's still here, and mostly all your family members have lived, elder.
Well, yeah. Yeah. My grandfather, my mother's father, he made it to 96 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And my dad's father, he was in his 80s, somewhere closer to 90, I believe.
Wow.
But the grandmothers, they're the ones that passed early.
Mm.
My mother's mother, I was only 9 when she passed.
Mm.
So yeah. And yeah, so you can't really, it's hard to look at that, and then that's also going back to genetic structure and all of that, but I believe a lot of it's mental. If you're programmed to think, yeah, well, my grandmothers died when they were 50 something years old or
Oh yeah.
whatever, and I'm going to too, then
Yeah.
you can get locked into that mindset,
Yeah.
and
Well, that's
trap
like
yourself.
saying like my parents had diabetes, so I'm gonna have diabetes.
Again, yes,
What?
same thing, yeah,
No, you just have poor eating habits.
exactly.
The same poor eating habits that your ancestor had.
Because they were trying to push that on me, since my mother's a diabetic, and they say it goes from mother to son or father to daughter kind of thing. So they had me thinking like that until now that I know it don't have to be that way.
No. Well, thank you for all your wisdom that you instill with us here every day. I'm able to take my time and slow down and just appreciate things, take deeper breaths, and I love being here with you. It's really a great partnership that we're developing here. So thank you so much for spending
More
so
than
much
welcome, brother.
time all the time.
You've got the school knowledge, and I've got the working world, boots on the ground knowledge.
Yeah, I never had that real life experience. I don't think even still to this day, I'm still very much of a bookworm, protected, by the institution, having been in college for 10 years.
Right.
When I graduated in 2016, I was fresh baby out in the world, like a 30-year-old baby, like what do I do?
Right.
Oh, I'm supposed to just go get a job. I'm not happy doing things for other people in that way. I mean, I'm happy to help myself. Yes, working for an architect would be helping myself, but I would be too busy thinking about all the things that I would want to do, like I do
Exactly.
every day.
Exactly.
And I get to jump here, and I get to jump here, and I get to jump here, and some people call that ADHD or whatever. And I'm just like having 10 different things going at one time. But one finishes, and I've got one that's starting over here, and then one is finishing over here, and one
Right.
starting over here. I keep hitting this thing.
And things start coming together, though. Yeah.
This is actually one of our next projects.
Exactly. I was wanting to mention that.
And I'm an artist.
Yes.
And this
And
is
a musician.
And a musician. Oh, funny you say that. I guess we'll close it up
All right, brother.
with a little tune.
This is the way he goes to market, man.
Then I go to the farmer's market.
He goes out there and plays his ukulele, and I get out there and dance to the live bands and sway with the music.
And yeah, you should be having one of these too.
Or one of my cigar box guitars, man.
I really I'm getting a good feel for it. It's been 2 years at the farmer's market just holding it and not really having a song to play, but then just thinking about maybe what I might want to say, and then maybe kind of just playing the 5 chords that would create a song.
Yeah. I love the sound of the ukulele.
Yeah, just really trying to practice. I use YouTube to watch the videos and come up with songs, and mostly at the farmer's market this is a conversation piece. It's something to talk about,
Right.
or just to see visually that music to the ears, to the sight and the eyes, always something to look at and hear. It just attracts people, so they come
Exactly.
over, and even if they're talking and I'm just giving a little, oh yeah, oh that was a good one, oh that's a good one, and just kind of give it a little bit of a thing. They like it too, and they feel lifted and upbeat, and they just like seeing me with it. I think it's. I feel almost naked without it now at the farmer's
Well, when I
market.
go to the markets and the ones I'm taking your place in, even Hyde Park, they're like, "Where's the guy with the ukulele?" Well, he's at another market today,
Nice.
If they don't know your name, they know you're the guy with the ukulele.
Right.
Beautiful way to spend a Monday morning, brother. Hanging out on the porch in the cool breeze.
Yeah. Thanks, Uncle Bob. But I just wanted to tell people really quick about this. This is something I've been working on for about a year, actually. And these are the drumsticks from the moringa trees. And these drumsticks have been dried and also now preserved. So I preserve them, and now they are in this vase as a tabletop display that you can get at numanursery.com. We have them available in bunches without the vase, or also with a vase that we may find at a flea market or something. We don't know what the exact vase will look like that you get, but it's going to be something kind of like this, a small little
Right.
vase that you can put a few
Right.
of these drumsticks in, and just to have something on the table. And then we're going to give a little
Man, look at all the different colors.
oh yeah,
The lines and the colors and the twist and I mean, you've got your green and a brownish and a lighter greenish,
I love it. This one,
tannish.
yeah, this one
You
twists,
know, it's so beautiful, man.
and they're
Yeah,
preserved, so
and I
they'll
love
last like
that.
this for I don't know how long, maybe several years. So that way you can show them, to people that this is the fruit that comes off of the drumstick tree.
Yeah,
These are baby drumsticks. There are little mini seeds inside that never matured yet, but this is one of the ways that we can use a, a part of the tree.
yeah, that otherwise would be composted or wasted in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We're finding
repurposing.
exactly, and that's what I wanted to do is create another revenue stream for
Hmm.
us off of a waste product that would otherwise be used to make soil or in the compost. But we want to be able to educate people about the moringa tree, so that way maybe a little pamphlet that's
Yeah,
with this on the table when someone says, "Oh, what is this?" and they say, "Oh, this is the drumstick vegetable that comes off of the moringa tree."
right. You're also actually thinking about making some and getting them into the schools to where the teachers can use them
Yeah,
as, yeah, examples.
yeah,
And
exactly. Teachers could have this, universities can have this, and teaches people about the moringa tree even more.
right,
And so we're happy
show
to,
the different stages of the seed pod as it grows.
yeah,
Have different ones,
different sizes.
yeah, from here on up to mature, starting to crack open, maybe.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
So people can see the progression.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean we're just having fun now.
yeah.
I mean we're just playing. We're here. We're making things. We're playing music and
Tossing around ideas and
tossing ideas and
trying to
having.
come up with better ways to process product and be more efficient. And, yeah.
Well, thanks for having me today.
Thank you for being here, brother.
Much love, Uncle Bob.
Much love to you too.
Thank you. Thank you. Peace.
Peace out.
Thanks, Uncle Bob. Greetings and welcome to numanursery.com. Have you ever heard of the moringa tree? Native to India and Africa, moringa is an ancient tree that has been eaten for thousands of years as a staple food vegetable. Even today, the nutrient-rich leaves and seeds are used to help combat malnutrition around the world. A daily serving of moringa can help boost the immune system and helps to prevent many illnesses. Moringa is even a complete source of plant-based protein. Now and every Monday, receive an extra 20% off your online order of local Moringa Tree products. Use code Moringa Monday at checkout. Visit numanursery.com today. Thank you so much for visiting. Use moringa in teas, smoothies, or an additive to any meal. I'm Kendrick Henry. For more information, call me directly. My number is on the numanursery.com website. Peace and prosperous growing.